I have no enemies. It sounds poetic and was also a trending meme, but the underlying meaning feels powerful, and if you clicked on this video, inspiring. When we think of improving ourselves and becoming the best version of ourselves, this is what a lot of us are drawn to, even though sometimes it may feel unrealistic. Being kind, trusting others, and responding in a non-combatful way, and taking more the position of standing up for ourselves, not fighting to get back. The words "I have no enemies" became popular from Vinland Saga. I haven't watched Vinland Saga personally, but from what I've seen, the message it portrays is powerful, and I plan on watching it soon. Stoicism, meanwhile, is where Vinland Saga really gets its inspiration from. Consuming and watching all this "I have no enemies" content can be very fulfilling and leave you feeling peaceful and hopeful, but there's a big difference between just watching and starting to think about it and living it. So how do we 100% adopt this mindset to us, and what might that really look like in what we do in the real world? First, we need to have complete acceptance of it. Understand that having no enemies means no exceptions for everyone and everything, including the enemy in you. Thinking not the worst of others but the best of others is really the difference, at least in my eyes, between an enemy and a friend. So shift to completely seeing the best in others. I know that sounds corny, but the part that's holding you back is probably the part that's cringing at this. Doing this will also affect how you think about yourself, because after all, we're creatures of habit. If you're looking for the best in others, you're gonna start seeing the best in yourself. Basically, what you're doing is going to translate to you. It sounds too simple to be true, but let me ask you this. When you look back on your life, which version of you will probably have lived a happier life? The version of you that saw most people as enemies, constantly checking your back, comparing yourself, trying to get the best of others, and fighting back as soon as something doesn't exactly go your way or someone says something? Or the one that saw nobody as enemies, not fighting back, only standing your ground? Put their energy towards solving the issue and thinking positively of others around you. I'm not saying that this has to be all the time, like don't be oblivious, and you don't have to be exactly nice to people that you don't like. Don't force yourself to be fake. Just don't fight or snap back unless you literally have to, and stand your ground. But it's more the mindset of being passive and going instead, I don't like you, so I don't have to be around you, so I won't. Simple as that. Nothing personal to them, but I just don't want to be around you. It's all about being passive, really, and thinking of things a lot more objectively, not emotionally. Living with no enemies means being okay with being disliked and not seeing the people that don't like you as enemies. It's removing the ego. You're going to piss people off and people are going to piss you off, but the mindset of having no enemies is how you respond. The thing is, we don't really ever think about situations and things contextually as much as maybe we should. What helped me a lot with this, especially when I worked at a restaurant, so you deal with rude people, you know, a couple times a day at least in America, is that everything is situational. A lady comes in cussing up a storm because we had to sit her table because she wasn't there when we called her name and we had waited 30 minutes. My restaurant, they didn't do the text message thing, if you're thinking that. I bring people their food and they don't even look up from their phones. The most memorable example was when I told this regular that came in pretty often that I was gonna take a gap year from school, and he basically just told me that I was disappointing my parents and I was ruining everything that I had going for me. I just kind of, you know, after that, you don't really see the regular customer as just a friendly guy you talk to anymore. It was kind of, you know, obviously it was kind of messed up to say that. I don't think he was in a good position to say that, but then I realized that that's just truly what he believes and that's how he truly feels. He doesn't know me and my reasons why, and of course he's not me, so I don't have to take things personally. Perception is key. How much we let others affect us is up to us. We give their words meaning, so learn to change the meaning. Don't make it that deep. Don't take it so personally. If what someone says or does bothers you, try to look at it a little differently. Maybe they're hurt, so they hurt. Maybe they truly feel that way, and that's them sharing their truth. No matter what it is, you can let it affect you or don't. As Ryan Holiday wrote in his book, "The Obstacle is the Way," there is the event itself and the story we tell ourselves about what it means. Don't give people the permission and meaning to. You give their words power if you let them, so don't give them the power. Keep the power to yourself. Most people do what they do and say what they say because to them in that moment it feels right. Just because it's what they feel is right doesn't mean that we have to prove them wrong. Most of the time, unless it's something that's a crime, like putting milk in first before the cereal in your bowl. What the f is wrong with you? What living with no enemies also means is that you're the strongest you can be. The kindest people, at least in my eyes, and hopefully your eyes too, are the strongest people. It's giving without expecting anything in return. It's doing things for you and others because you genuinely want to, and not doing it to get back at others or expect things from others. I think a lot of people, I think including me, would do things, we do something nice for someone, we expect something back. I think society has geared us to be, when we don't get something or a favor back, we therefore see those people as enemies. You work, you get paid. grade. You do homework, you get good grades. If we don't get what we feel like is owed to us, we usually feel salty and take it personally. So try to do things a lot more often now without expecting anything in return. Unless it's your job, you need that. Plus, when you do get things back for what you do, it's gonna feel even more rewarding than it was before. Being kind for a lot of people sometimes can feel like being taken advantage of. And truth is, if you are, at some point, you probably will be. There's always gonna be people that will take things the wrong way and see your kindness as a weakness. But having the courage to be anyway is what makes the kindest the strongest. That's what thinking the best of people is. Trust. If they lose it, they lose it. But at least giving most people the shot with your trust is the difference. Lastly, having no enemies means treating everyone around you like a friend. That sounds a little corny, I know, but you know what? Yeah, it's corny. I can't lie. But I am pretty sure that most of us could use a lot more of people treating us like friends than treating us like enemies. So be the change. Again, I know, corny, but it's facts. Grudges, resentment, and negativity are what makes our enemies enemies. So we have to let go of them. We have to forgive. And forgiving can be hard sometimes, but doing so will stop you from wasting mental energy on the negative emotions and feelings we get. Also, when you forgive, it doesn't mean that things are gonna just go back to how things were before. It's gonna look, of course, still a lot differently. So remember that it's still gonna be a lesson from whatever grudge or resentment or negative thing it might be. When you forgive, you start to forget. And when you forget, you can focus much more on the important things that actually matter in life. After all, we only have so much time on this earth, so why focus on the negative things when we can spend it enjoying and making the most of life? Live for you, not for enemies. Have no enemies and focus on you. Thank you so much if you made it to the end of this video. Comment down below or like this video if you'd like to see another video relating to having no enemies. I don't think anything's ever really resonated with me more. You know, it like hit you deep in your soul. Also, think about subscribing if you'd like to see much more self-improvement content like this. Just in general, have a beautiful rest of your day and I'll see you next time.